So that said, so when we do UFC, Jay, obviously you may kind of remember like my buddies and I, we bet and we just like bet shots, um, on the fights. I
Hmm.
finally finished off my horrible bottle of tequila because I lost so many bets that night.
Ouch, that sounds like a very bad next morning.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you bet on Adesanya.
I did. Yeah,
Yeah, that was a bad bet.
yeah.
Um, did you bet on Peter Yan?
No, wasn't it Peter Yan and Adesanya?
No, it was Jan Blachowicz. And
Oh, and Blahovic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but I didn't take on.
okay, I would have lost. I would have had to take a shot there.
Yeah.
Um, Amanda Nunes, obviously, I'm betting on her.
And I didn't because everybody was betting on her, so I was like, I'm gonna take the underdog,
I'm
and
going
she got
against.
destroyed. She
She
got
got
so destroyed.
fucking destroyed.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got a little bit too drunk that night, and then I'm pretty sure I joined Zoom after the fights at like 10 after 2, and 5 minutes later, Colin just closed Zoom.
Yeah, he did.
And then I woke up to Facebook messages from like 2:30 in the morning, and Colin being the fucking reasonable one saying, it was getting really late, go to bed.
No, you should have seen his face after he did it. He was so happy with himself that he just like inconvenienced the whole room. He was so proud of himself that he was being such a wiener.
I'm like, yeah, I remember joining Zoom, and that's about it. I'm like, Colin was probably right in that situation. The guy was out of it.
Yeah.
So I went into town today. 'Cause I had to go to Home Depot because we're doing Cottage Three's bathroom this year.
Nice.
And I went into one of the 5 cannabis stores that Huntsville got. I thought we got one. We got 5.
Holy
There's no
shit.
way that all 5 are gonna last.
That's every city in Canada. It's like everything closed and like a million cannabis shops opened up.
This place, I walked in. They said, "Hey, how are you?" There's 3 people in there, super welcoming. And then the pregnant woman that served me, she's like, "Okay, what do you like?" I'm like, "Well, right now I'm smoking God Bud. I'm at the end of it." She's like, "Okay, here's some comparable stuff," and like was super knowledgeable. So I got what she recommended. I haven't opened it up yet, but she's like, "It smells great. All you do is smile and laugh. It's not one of those bring you down, make you tired weeds. It's a pick you up and fucking have a good night kind of weed." And I'm like, holy shit, okay, sign me up.
I
And
think the way that they've done. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I I asked, do you have a one hitter, which is this little fucking little pipe I have. You've seen it at your place, I'm sure. Um, and she's like, "Yeah, we do." And I go to pick one up. She's like, "No, sorry, we can't give it to you until we fucking put it in a bag." I'm like, "Okay, this seems legit." Told her my name once. Was in there for 20 minutes. She's like, "Okay, Jason, thanks for coming in." And holy, what the fuck is this?
It's very professional.
It really was. The 2 dudes that were in there were in shirt and tie. The one chick obviously couldn't wear a shirt and tie because she was like 84 months pregnant. But no, I was extremely impressed, and they have like a king's table worth of gummies in there, like 1,000 different fucking gummies.
Missed the first half of this conversation. What are you guys talking about?
Dispensaries.
I went into
Huntsville got like 5 dispensaries.
yeah, and I went into one for the first time today, and it was a super awesome experience.
London just got like 5 new dispensaries downtown. It's like it's like a dispensary on every corner. It's like kind of weird.
The Tim Hortons of London.
Well, yeah, Tim Hortons, weed and pizza, because it's a university town. So the downtown is just like weed and pizza.
Is it London that's right beside Waterloo?
Like the Garfield place, Rich. Pardon? London is like an hour and a half from Kitchener-Waterloo, another university.
Oh, it's
town.
Kitchener.
Yeah, it's all
That's what I was thinking.
Golf too would be. Yeah.
So I went to Waterloo for 3 months for schooling for the bank, and that was just a straight up party town. Well, I'm sure you know, Doug. You went there for what, 4 years?
Well, there's 2 universities.
I went to
Oh,
Wilfrid
universities.
Laurier. Did you go to Wilfrid Laurier?
No, I was Waterloo. Dad went to Wilfrid.
Their dorm rooms suck. I don't know if every fucking university is like that, but it was like a jail cell with a shared fucking kitchen.
I had for Lindsay's birthday, I decided I was going to buy us some gummies, so I Googled where the closest dispensary was, and it was an hour drive down south. So I drove all the way there and went right to where the map said, and there's nothing there but a bank. Drive around asking people, nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. And I find out that there's one within walking distance of our goddamn house.
Oh god.
A friend of mine started making his own guns, and I thought the funniest that he got buy like little trays, like little gummy bear molds on Amazon. I thought that was like the funniest part. You could buy those little trays.
Like little tiny gummy bears of like 100 gummy bears. They're actually pretty neat, I think.
That's
They
so
used to like
cute.
pop them out like. Yeah.
And I've gone for beers with them like several times because I'm not a big gummy guy. But they don't read.
Oh, he's my
Like
favorite
some-
friend of Andrew's. Because every time I see him, he's like, "Here's a pack of like 10 gummies. Thanks."
Oh, I thought Henri might like these.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
kind of
He talks like that. Yeah. I think I'm like his test subject. Like.
yeah. Let me know what she thinks.
That's awesome. I've been curious about like experimenting with making edibles, but I don't think I actually enjoy edibles enough to like do all that work. I need to like, I don't know. I find like most of the time they don't land right for me.
Think what I think, Myers. Stronger name.
Wow.
This is supposed to be good or not?
Yeah, I honestly I prefer like I actually think I prefer smoking over edibles.
You know what you're ingesting is the thing.
Yeah, and I just like the experience. You know, I like when I'm smoking and I like actually go out on my balcony and like smoke, and I'm just like I never do that. Like I never go out on my balcony. But like if I'm smoking weed, then yeah, obviously I'm out there and I'm just relaxing. I'm just like enjoying like the outdoors. But like with edibles, I'm not going to be going outside either. You know.
Well, then I'll tell Myers not to bring any.
Well, I mean, hey, I never look a gift horse in the mouth, okay? That's a saying. That's not a literal thing. Just FYI. I think we keep losing Ree and Andrew a bit there.
You totally do.
You guys from Alberta know your horse flash. Yeah.
What? What I miss?
Nothing. I think we're getting little snippets of what Ree and Andrew say when in between them freezing.
Oh, so it's not me?
No, you're good.
Okay, because I've been having packet loss issues the last 3 nights in a row.
No, I think you've been pretty good. You've just been muted and like jamming out to something. What are you listening to?
Is
Why
it social
can-
distortion?
Link. That was a good guess. That really was a good guess. But for it to be bad religion after social
I know, and you know what? Okay, I love Bad Religion.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
I cannot. That's what I knew. I was like, I'm gonna kick myself because I know who this is, but I just cannot put my finger on it.
I almost prefer. No, I 100% prefer audio editing over that. Because if I don't get it, I've only heard 3 seconds of the song, so I'm fine. But when I hear 30 seconds of a song and I can't get it, and I know the fucking song,
Yeah.
then I'm upset. How was Doug and Lindsay's day? I honestly thought your gif of your response to Jim was you were going to bed.
What the fuck?
You mean the cat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it's just a very beat me up kind of beat.
Oh, that sucks. Well,
got
it's
some-
Friday.
I got some good news.
Am I supposed
My
to be like a...
my mommy gets her COVID vaccine tomorrow.
Nice.
That's sweet.
Like, whole family is vaccinated. I'm jealous.
I'll wait till the end. I drink enough alcohol to kill anything that goes into me, so
That is how that works.
I mean, I feel like Simon also drinks plenty of alcohol and he was not safe.
yeah, but he was taking care of someone that was spitting it in his face. Like it that takes a lot of balls to go into an apartment to take care of someone with COVID.
I don't think he knew, his friend didn't know that he had COVID. I agree, it takes a lot to like be like, my friend's sick, I'm gonna go help them. Or whatever happened. I don't actually know what happened, but yeah, that seems like a gutsy move. And then to find out the person had COVID.
Well, I took from what he said, I think it was 3 weeks ago, because his dogs were at his boyfriend's place.
I missed that data, so yeah, you might know more than I do.
I think he said his dogs were at his partner's place or his boyfriend's place because he was taking care of someone. Yeah, he was taking care of someone with COVID. That's what I understood, but I could have been wrong.
Gotcha, okay. Well, in that case, yeah, he knew, I guess, what he was walking into.
Yeah, that's right, because he said he was going in there with double mask.
Yeah, that's a real gutsy move for sure. But I mean, real sweet of him.
Well, I'd like to hope everyone in here would take care of a friend or a loyal friend.
For sure. Yeah, no, for sure. It's like, I think that's the tricky thing right now is like, people who have COVID really need help, right? And so like we're all being trained to like be separate, but like if you have somebody in your life who gets really sick like that, like they don't have a lot of options, and
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. Colin, like about 5 minutes ago, yelled, "What the fuck?" I don't know what he's doing, but it's
Trying
very
to
stressful.
prep for my stream tomorrow.
You're streaming now, though.
Yeah, but I'm trying to prep in Valheim. We're gonna do stuff in Valheim tomorrow.
Oh, are we the 1 o'clock Valheim tomorrow?
Only if you can make it, I'm doing it.
No, I want to try and build us a base.
Not during the day tomorrow.
What? Not during the day. What do you mean?
We're doing content. We're figuring out the swamp.
Oh, fuck me. Alrighty. I'll plan my respawn routes accordingly.
That's what I'm doing tonight. I'm making bases and beds near the swamp.
Okay, you guys, come on. Like, I can only do so many shots. You need to stop dying.
You do a shot every time he dies in Valheim?
I
mean-
barely die. You guys die all the time.
Yeah, luckily Colin doesn't die too often.
That's because we're front lines. You're this pussy-ass bitch 500 yards away.
I do see him
Actually,
like
I
shooting.
block stuff.
No.
I know how to use my
Colin's-
shield, and I bring health potions. Wow.
No, he's shooting his bow at something that you can barely even see in the distance. Like you can like you don't even know if he's hitting it. He like sees like a pixel or two, and he's like shooting the ball.
Dude, those level 2 Draugrs, man, they fucking pack a wallop.
And I know how to parry those guys.
I'll parry your face. Try parrying a bow Draugr, man. You can't.
Welcome back, Dylan and Stewie. We can't hear you.
Sorry, are you guys talking to us? I heard my name. Did you say I can't hear Ree? Is that what you said? Or am I just
No.
interrupting myself?
I can't hear Dylan.
Oh, okay. Okay, bye.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Or what was that?
Sorry, were you guys trying to talk to me?
Okay. Let's do something. Should we have like an activity of some sort?
Yeah, like didn't you prep, Elizabeth?
No. No, I'm doing Duolingo because I forgot to do it today.
Oh, and it's yelling at you?
It yells all the time. I'm on my 837th straight day.
Wow. Have you learned anything?
I feel like I'm pretty good at writing and reading French, but I'm not speaking. Yeah. But I think, anyway, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Do you guys
Well,
have
good.
any, like, old friends that you don't talk to that much, but are still important to you?
Yeah, I could tell you about my friend who we had a conversation over messages a couple weeks ago, and he is insane. He's my oldest friend, and I'm lucky that we were friends beforehand because he is like totally off the deep end. I don't even know where to start.
Hold on. Colin, are you streaming our conversation or just Valheim?
All audio is going.
That's
Who are we
fine.
talking about first off?
It's fine.
So anyway, just so you're aware.
Yeah, no, I'm aware. So here's what happened. Okay, he messages me, and he's like, he lives out in BC. I know him from Edmonton. I've known him for literally since kindergarten. So like we've been friends for a long time. And he messaged me, and he's like, oh, what do you know about Bitcoin? And I was like, okay. So I tell him what I know about Bitcoin, and he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm just trying to, looking at investing in like alternate currencies and stuff. And I was like, okay. And then I told him how volatile Bitcoin is. He's like, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just invest in like silver or gold, something like physical. And I was like, and I was like, okay, like there's something going on here. So I like dig a little bit deeper, and essentially he's like, well, the way Canada and the U.S. are printing money, in a few years, our money's going to be worthless. And I'm like, okay, so like obviously there's like a little bit. I was like, I'm not sure where you're getting your information from, but you know, you might want to take another look. And then we like keep going a little bit more, and he's like, so he's a bit more religious than I am, I would say. I may have mentioned him before, and he essentially he's like, I'm worried about not being able to buy things because of the mark of the beast. And like I've known, like this is one of my best friends I've known for like 30 years, and like so essentially he's worried. And then I'm like, okay, so I'm guessing you don't want to get vaccinated, and your worry is if you don't get vaccinated you won't be allowed in certain places. And that's exactly what it was, because you know they're very conspiracy theory orientated. Like he's like very much off the deep end a bit.
David, to add to that, like my family is like pretty deeply rooted in religion, and the mark of the beast is something that's mentioned in Revelations in the Bible. So it's like it's not that far removed from Christianity or Catholicism. Like we think it's off the deep end because like I don't know, I think we're like kind of science rooted people here, so we think it's like a little bit off the deep end. But like honestly, the Bible and like those stories have been around for thousands of years, so it's not that off base. It's not crazy for him to think that. Like lots of people think that this is the end times right now, unfortunately.
So like we kind of went on, and I was like, okay, what I want you to do is, because I've heard him talk about things like the thing is, if it's not this, in another 3 or 5 years, there's going to be something else that he's like, this is like the coming of the mark of the beast. You know, like there's always something, and then it never happens, and then they just like, you know, move the goalposts. I hate that saying, but like, you know, they just you know, change things and be like, oh no, that wasn't it, but this is it now. You know, they just keep pushing the belief, even though the facts and evidence like are.
I think those types of people almost like having those stories. Like it gives them their own like sense of purpose or whatever to like know something that other people don't know, or just to be thinking differently is like what gives that. I don't know.
I think it's also valuable. Like if you spent your whole life believing in something and following something and watching everyone around you not do that, to feel like there's some benefit, right? Like you have advanced knowledge of like the coming of the end of the world, or advanced knowledge of what happens in heaven or whatever. Like there's a thing that like explains why you spent your life living a specific way when other people around you maybe didn't, right?
Yeah, it's it even I know I don't want to pull out the conversation and go through it like line by line, but like it even got like it just kept going, and it got even deeper down the rabbit hole, and
only couches pull out, sir.
Yeah,
keep going.
No. This, you know what? There's otherwise I'll just be talking here for the next like half an hour. So we'll, you know.
But David, I would love to talk to you about that like later, because like my family's deep into conspiracy theories, and like I don't know. Here goes the fan. I have a fan that turns on by itself all the time, and the power turns up and turns down by itself all the time. That like jerks around by itself all the time.
It's called a poltergeist.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, it's like the least useful ghost I've ever met.
Yeah, it has no sense for our personal temperatures.
It'll be nice in the summer.
I like to, you know, as a person who believes in personal responsibility, I don't need a ghost. I'll manage my own temperature. I'll manage my own fans.
Yeah. I mean, I know you don't need it, but like, wouldn't it be kind of cool still to have one?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe it.
Okay. I respect that.
I'll send him down to you.
Definitely.
As soon as I get proof of ghosts, I will believe in ghosts. I just
Yeah.
want proof. I want proof.
I know.
Haunt me. Someone haunt me, please.
Don't you want to believe though?
I want to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I actually heard the most like interesting theory on ghosts, which is that they're like it's almost like an overlap with an alternate universe.
Interesting. Okay, carry on. Go
Yeah.
on.
Why not?
It's like my favorite like theory because it's almost like you're just like having time like loop on itself in that place. Which like I don't know if I'm not necessarily saying I believe it, but I think it's the most fun theory if true, because then you're having like the idea that like your ghost is just someone in that same place at a different time, and you're kind of technically also haunting them.
Dude, I want to haunt the shit out of some people when I die in about 10 years.
Also, like, why can't we just like pick things to believe? Like, why do we have to like pick already established religions or whatever? Like, why can't we just invent our own things to believe?
We shouldn't brush over what Jay.
Oh, what is Dave?
That sounds like Scientology to me.
Yeah, but you could be the leader of your own Scientology, Jay, is I think what Reed's
I'm
getting.
not a fucking leader in anything.
No,
The only thing I lead is controversy and Zoom on Friday nights. And then I just bow down and listen to you guys fight. Is that really a leader or is that a coward?
Were we gonna start our own cult?
I think that's a troll.
Your cult leader?
I don't mean it as a troll though. Am I an unintentional
Are you
troll? Because
Jay?
Wait, can I do like round table ask people like what do they think about what does everyone think about ghosts? Colin, what do you think about ghosts? Real, not real? Yes or no?
They're not real, no.
Not real. David, ghosts, real, not real?
I
You can say
Over
I
the-
don't know.
yeah, the reality is I don't know. In the past, I used to believe that there could be something out there, but as I get older, I believe that there is not anything.
Okay, Jason, ghosts, no ghosts.
I really want to believe, and I've seen some fucked up shit on acid and mushrooms to make me, like, on the side of belief.
Uh-huh.
But I don't see any physical evidence.
All right, Liz, ghosts, no ghosts.
Nope. Sorry.
Oh, Lindsay. No, go ahead, Lindsay.
No, there's Liz and Linz. I don't know what you said.
Oh, I said Liz. But
No, sorry.
But
all right, Liz, then Linz.
I mean, I think you can't dismiss it because it is people in a particular mental state who are, maybe sleepless or super observant or scared or whatever that are picking up things. And that is like a human experience and there's value in that, but I don't think there's ghosts.
Okay. Lynn, what do you think?
I've seen a lot of scary movies and I get scared a lot of the dark, but I don't believe in them.
All right, Dylan, it's Kiwi. What do you got?
No ghost.
Doug, what do you got?
I'm in the no ghosts camp. I'm closer to reincarnation of my weird time theory than I am to like ghosts as we perceive them.
Okay. And then Doug, what do you got?
I'm a no as well, I'm afraid.
Okay. All right, so let's go further.
I think we
here.
actually missed somebody.
Oh, Andrew, I assume no ghosts.
Well, yes, absolutely no.
No
Andrew,
fucking
no.
imagination. Come on.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about that ghost stories have been around since stories have been around. So how do we explain that? What is
okay,
our
so I do have a theory, and that's because when people don't understand things, it's easier for them to make up some magical or crazy phenomenon to explain the unexplained. But the reality is,
why we have the science to figure out ghosts now, do we not? Like, why haven't we?
with the
figured it
science
out?
to figure out ghosts, I mean,
Yeah, Ghost Hunters on
Wait.
TLC.
No, I'm not talking about ghost hunters. Like, if we think
Ghost
scientifically that this is like something that happens in the brain, it's like a reaction. It's like maybe you're mourning the death of
Ooh.
someone, so they visit you, or maybe you are scared and you start to see things. Like what's actually happening in the brain that causes a hallucination? If we think it's a hallucination, what is happening? What causes ghosts?
I think the fact that you believe that we are advanced enough to have like the brain is still like crazy unknown stuff.
But like, why though?
Because we as a human being suck.
No, but you're driving at like Liz is really, that's probably the one I agree with, agree with. Like it's just simply the human mind is a very powerful thing. There's a lot of things going on and about it, and like,
why would our own brain tell us ghost stories?
There's a black cat behind you. Is that a ghost?
No, it's an actual black cat.
you can see it.
But it's just a shadow.
You haven't unlocked it yet.
Oh shit.
But like, here's the thing. Like, it's just so if people didn't, if you didn't know like about ghost stories and you were inside your own little bubble, I don't think you would. That ghost wouldn't be a thing. You might invent something else. Like, just your brain would find a way to rationalize something, even if it's unrational or irrational. You know, I don't think the. I mean, maybe there's some instinct in there. Maybe there's some like.
I think there's some good, solid reasoning for why human beings would be super, like, attuned to what is going on in the dark around them. Like, that you're super, super hyper aware of what might be happening, and that you might misinterpret signals or hallucinate something or whatever, right? Like, a lot of the danger for humans in like an evolutionary timescale would be being hunted in the dark, I guess. So
interesting.
So do you think out of all the haunted houses cases, like the real, like, not like Disney World, like not one of those houses are haunted?
You know what? I think I actually believe in ghosts. I think I do. I think there's no physical proof. I have no reason to believe, but this is one thing that I'm just willing to like let go and be like, whatever, I'm gonna believe in ghosts. I think there's just too many ghost stories to not believe it. And whether it's like, maybe it's like a figment of the imagination or whatever, it's believed well enough that people believe in it, and sometimes when enough people believe in it, it's like it might as well be real.
Okay,
so
you
like
believe
God.
in all of the religions of the world as well?
I feel like they're on to something, but we haven't figured out what they're on to yet. Because a lot of religions have some similarities, and they're all kind of on to something.
They're ghost adjacent.
So ghosts are completely figured out by humans, but religions haven't been figured out.
No, obviously ghosts have not been figured out, and obviously religion has not been figured out here. I just think there's something going on here that science is not tapping into for some reason.
I think the trick, you can't really compare ghosts and religion, because religion involves power, right? Like there's a reason to have a religious structure and form a religion, because some people are empowered to make decisions for groups of people. Whereas with ghosts are like, they're a phenomenon that some people believe in, some people don't, some people witness or think they witness, some people don't. Like, but there's nobody who's gaining really anything besides ghost facers. Like besides little, like, but with religion, there's a benefactor, right?
Ghost is like this like nice little like non-partisan or like topic.
Yeah, I mean,
supernatural thing that like, I don't know.
And I think I don't think I believe in ghosts, but I fully acknowledge that there are things that science can't explain yet. Ghosts might be one of them. I don't think it is, but there's a lot that science doesn't explain. So I'm willing to believe that maybe ghosts are a thing, and maybe it's along the lines of what Scooby was saying, that it's like some kind of parallel universe thing that we're not really figured out yet.
And this is where I agree with Elizabeth, where like she said the word yet. Like science hasn't figured it out yet, but like one day it'll be figured out and it'll just be science. Whether it's like crazy like alternate universe science, or it's like you know, something happens and we see things that aren't actually there, and it's really just like a visual, you know, flaw in our DNA or some bullshit, right? Like
I just want science to solve the questions that I want answered specifically.
There's no money in ghosts.
I know. Well, I think they're actually. Okay, but I have questions and I need answers.
And you'd have to be prepared to acknowledge the fact that ghosts may not exist.
I am totally.
Science may find that ghosts.
I'm totally prepared. I just need to know.
Mhm.
You're in a need-to-know basis.
I'm gonna need to know my answers.
Harold Ramis, when he started it, they begot the research, but never finished.
Okay, I'm gonna shift the conversation immensely. Because that's what I fucking do. Crystalia.
What has he done now? Why are we talking about it?
He came out with an apology video and
No.
an explanation video. Okay, but I'd let you talk about ghosts.
Okay, I'll shut
It's my
up.
turn. Crystalia came out with an apology video, and like 3 days later, it came out with like very hardcore proof that he has forced himself upon women. He dropped a podcast today. Congratulations Podcast is back today. So where does it lie? Does he have to be criminally convicted for it to be secure? Or
Jay, you're really just jumping in for the jugular, eh?
no, I want to know because I had this conversation with people in my my Discord. That I found it weird that he would come out with his apology. He had to know that the lawyers were going to drop this information 2 days later after his apology video or his explanation video. So
Hold on.
either he thinks it's just a sex addiction problem, or that he should be going to jail.
What is the timeline here? Like, he gets kind of like accused of shit, and then he apologizes, and then like proof comes out, and then the podcast starts up.
There was accusations. Mm-hmm. He disappears for like 9 months, 10 months, a year, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. Comes out with an apology video, like 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Literally 2 or 3 days later, like some pretty hard evidence comes out about him, and then 2 weeks to 2.5 weeks later, i.e. today, he drops his first podcast episode since the accusation started.
I wonder if
so it just seems like boop, 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 boop.
He's trying to maximize off of the bad media, bad attention. That's what he's trying to do.
So he's just he's bringing in views to get more money before he goes to jail.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to maximize that before his life career ends.
No, I could get on board with that. I'm just.
This is why a lot of people roll their eyes when they say that false rape accusations damage a man's career, because I think the proof is that it fucking doesn't, because you can still release a podcast.
Well, I'm not sure that you can say there's been no negative outcome for him. I don't know enough about the whole situation, but obviously there's been some negative impact to him. It sounds like he's probably a fucking piece of shit. But barring the proof, it sounds like he did have some negative. Whether everybody believed it or not, it's not like we all have a common thought, right? Where it's like, oh, we've all decided that this person's a piece of shit, or no, we've all decided that we accept him. Everyone makes their own choice.
Oh, and he said in his apology or explanation video that he dropped 3 weeks ago that now that it was explained to him that he was in the wrong several times and he didn't know, and the experts and therapists that he was talking to over the last year when he's been silent that it comes down to sex addiction, and that you don't know. Like like this is my dumbass talking, right? Like, don't take anything literal from what comes out of my mouth, but everyone was telling him that it's sex addiction, and if you have that fucking seed in your brain with that kind of addiction, like, some of the rules are out the window. Like, he didn't call him streaming, so I don't want to say the four-letter word. Like, he didn't do any of that to any of his so-called victims, if you know what that four-letter word is, which would send him to jail immediately. And he didn't groom anyone. He just, if you're coming to my hotel, we're having sex, is basically what the accusations are. He didn't force anyone, he didn't do any of that, but if you want to hang out, shit's going down, is basically what it was. I don't know. We could change topics now.
Is that a crime, though? I actually don't understand the accusation.
I thought it's been a while since I read any of the accusations, but I thought part of the issue was that the girls were underage.
Yeah.
No, the one girl. The one girl was 17, but nothing happened between the two of them. But her older friend that was 18, she stuck around and did what he said and what he wanted to do with no, like, hesitation, apparently.
Okay, so if he could with underage girls, he probably would.
It sounds like it, yes.
That's what it sounds like.
I'm not defending his actions. Like,
No,
don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it just, the timeline of the whole thing just kind of fucked with me, because I'm a fan. I was a fan. I won't be a fan until he's, like, cleared of all charges. If he's cleared, I'll become a fan again, but I don't know. It's like Louis C.K.
Yeah, I honestly can't listen to Louis C.K. anymore. I like Andrew. I can't do it.
Oh, that's completely fine.
No, and like what if people's like, even my sister once tried to convince me that I should forgive Chris Brown, and I was like, Chris Brown didn't do anything. He doesn't deserve my respect, and like he doesn't need it either. So there's no reason for me to personally forgive Chris Brown. It was like this, like she just wanted me to listen to this new Chris Brown song. It was like a weird thing. Like I would rather not have him on my computer at any time at any point.
There was hard evidence with Chris Brown.
Yeah, there was hard.
Like,
but then also there's like this like, do you give people like a chance? But also like celebrities, who gives a fuck? I don't know.
I don't care about any celebrity except for Bert Kreischer. I want to have a beer with that guy. What? Like, I don't fucking care if you're a billionaire or a fucking broke bum. We should all have fucking moral standards and know what's right from right and right from wrong. Like, you don't groom someone right off the hop. You don't fucking.
So if there's one thing I've learned just interacting with people is that a lot of the times when people do things that might be perceived as bad, they've convinced themselves somehow that it's not bad. Like, I know people who have, cheated on their spouse, they've acted certain ways, and at the end of the day, they always justify it to themselves somehow.
Yeah, true.
I don't think a lot of these people think they're in the wrong. Now that doesn't mean the rest of us can't think they're in the wrong, but like, people will justify anything that they need to just to like get through it.
I don't know. Am I going too deep for Colin's fucking stream or what?
I didn't even realize it was streaming.
Because it looked like he got up in anger. I brought this up.
He's probably just angry because he didn't have a beer in his hand.
Alan just had to be, I think. No, I mean, like, Colin can also always stop streaming if he needs to, right?
I want him to keep streaming. Like, I don't want to dumb that down, but
I think this is a good conversation.
I didn't understand the timeline, and I'm probably more invested than you guys are with Crystalia.
I
Because
don't
I've been-
know who that is, but
I still don't know who that is, but
talked about
Yeah,
him.
talk about it a lot.
Not a lot.
He's a stand-up comedian that's not really funny in stand-up, but he's really good on podcasts as a guest.
Well, before the news broke out about him like potentially messaging underage girls, he recently did like a show in London, and like I know a comedian that opened for him like right beforehand, and then it was like a couple weeks later, all of this news came out, and like I couldn't help but wonder, like, did he message underage girls in London while he was here? Like, it seems to be a pattern.
He said he would go on Instagram or Twitter and state that he was playing a club in whatever city he was in, and he would go through his DMs and looking for women that would potentially want to hook up with me.
So it might have been like an age thing for him. It was just like whoever.
Yeah, it sounded that way.
I think
That's too far.
my view of it is, like, there's a lot of people who like do things like that, and they don't run into, like, are they 16, 17, 18? Like, there's a way to do it where you're not unsure of the age. You're not even.
Oh, 100%.
So, like, if you're, like, where there's smoke there's. I just think that
that's a good point.
a lot of
Very
people
good point.
never get anywhere close to that.
No, I agree.
To avoid it, and he definitely was not.
It didn't.
Like,
Avoid it.
yeah.
A lot of the things that came out around Crystalia, like, was around him using his status
Yes.
to solicit nudes from his underage fans. Like, that is what the allegations against him are. And it wasn't one, it was many. And he was in his 30s. You guys in your 30s, if you were DMing someone where you weren't sure of their age, what would you do to force it to you?
Block, delete.
That would
Just
not
go.
even happen.
Exactly. Like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I saw an interesting thing that kind of broke down even like, because of all the snaps and texts came out, and these guys were kind of breaking down even like the language he was using, and he's like, "Hey, come over and kiss me on the mouth," and just like weird stuff like that. He's like, imagine
Yeah.
saying that to a 30-year-old woman. They would never speak to you.
No, that's something you
Like
say.
the
to-
language he was using was like even designed to speak to somebody like not his age, or at least mature enough to be engaging in that sort of thing.
Like, it's predatory because you're using a few advantages that you have over the people you're targeting. So in his case, it's both age, celebrity status. Like, there's a few things, right?
There
and
was
it's-
one thing-
But, like, I was just gonna say, like, the responsibility lies with him, not with the teenagers that might be, like, idolizing this person.
I've noticed like a sort of pattern, just like because celebrities have, for like as long as we can remember, have used their fan base as kind of like a sex tool. Like rock stars are a very good example of that. But the internet allows anybody to be famous. Allows like anybody on TikTok the algorithm can choose them and they're famous, right? You have like regular Joes who all of a sudden have this like fan base that they can pick from, and like depending on the type of person you are, you might, I don't know, you might apparently it's like a thing that happens. I don't know.
So this is it. Okay, I like that you mentioned like the type of person you are, because I think that has a lot more to do with all of these different scenarios. Like you know, we're trying to like generalize, you know, based on this scenario with Chris, who I still don't even know, but like the reality is, I think the judgment of someone's character more speaks to anytime there's any of these allegations of wrongdoing by someone, like I think it's their character that really speaks to. Do you think like when somebody says something shitty about Donald Trump, because I think I have a fairly good idea of his character, I almost assume the shitty thing is correct. Because I have enough information to take that, but it's really based on the judgment of that person's character for me. If I think they're gonna, if I think it's true or not.
I'm sorry to derail this. That cat just slapped you in the face, Linz. Just don't take that from your cat. And for two, I agree with you, Dave.
He always does. He wants to put his feet in my mouth.
Like, there's a generalized perception of someone once they hit celebrity status that instantly outweighs anything right off the bat.
Well, and I mean, it's not just
in my eyes.
It's not just celebrity status. Like, literally, look at all the people in your life.
Oh,
like,
no, for sure. I just mean, like, on that celebrity level where they're on a platform where everyone knows them.
Yeah. And this is where, like, you know, when something comes out, if I didn't have a negative idea of that person's character in advance, there's a very good chance that I'm going to sit back and wait for, you know, more information to come out before making a judgment.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's kind of, and that's where, like, innocent until proven guilty. Like, unless the person has, like, already a history of being a shitty person, and in that case, I almost find it a flaw of mine that if I think they have a history of being a shitty person, I am less likely to believe them. I think that's a flaw. I wish that wasn't the case, but I probably will have some judgment there.
It's not really a flaw, I don't think. Sorry, Skewy. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think the flaw of mine is, like, I do the opposite. I believe the victim making the accusation first before I believe the person being innocent, just because the statistics kind of tend to favor that, but that's not always the case. Like I recognize that that's not always the case. You know, situations are sometimes gray, or grayer than they appear, but I tend to believe that because I find that statistically the numbers bear out that it's a lot less common for people to be making accusations because usually there's not that much. Not monetarily, not financially, not like you don't really get a positive thing from that. You don't gain, like, there's nothing to gain from making a false accusation usually, and it's so rare. So I tend to go the opposite when it comes to personal rights.
And you know, when you're talking about statistics, like, statistics are a tough thing because if you want to go by statistics, you can make a lot of people or groups of people look bad if you're solely going on statistics alone and not looking at, like, the bigger picture or other things. You know, that's how a lot of times in the U.S. in, you know, poor communities. You know, poor black communities in particular, you know, people will try and paint them with this bad brush because there's more crime, and the statistics show that, right? But, like, that's not the whole picture. You know, that there's a lot more to that. But people who are, you know, maybe arguing in bad faith will use a statistic like that to try and push their agenda or whatever the case may be. So, like, I love statistics too, but, like, you know, we can't, you know, we either need to decide we either go by statistics or we, like, take them with a grain of salt, you know, but we can't just, like, pick and choose when we want to.
Yeah, like, for me, like, I recognize it's a flaw that I do have a certain amount of prejudice in these types of situations, but at the same time, if you look at it from, if you take the bigger picture is that women have only had the vote for less than 100 years. Black women and women of color much less than that. Women couldn't own a home or
fly a
take out a credit card on their own until like 50 or so years ago. Like there's still a major wage gap, and it increases by race. There is the missing and murdered Indigenous women that no one's taking seriously. There's the young lady in the UK that was just abducted and killed walking home by a cop. They're
What the
like,
fuck?
And in particular, that many sexual assault cases don't go reported, right? So the statistics are already skewed in that case, and many reporters aren't believed, right? So it is kind of tricky to bring statistics in. You're right; they're biased both ways, right? People use them in all kinds of bad ways, but yeah, I'm with you, Askewy, that unfortunately, women are very much disadvantaged in a lot of cases.
And
Okay,
to
so
David's point about like statistics being used in the wrong way, you can't use a less than 2% false accusation rate in any way other than proving that it's probably not a fucking false accusation.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good point. And I was being very general in what I was saying about statistics.
Wait, I don't understand that.
He's saying less than 2% of accusations of sexual harassment are false claims. So it's a
Less
very
than
small...
2%?
Yeah.
Based
No,
on
that can't be right.
statistics
Is
I've
it?
seen from
Can I-
a credible
I would
source
agree.
who is a friend who is a lawyer, a criminal lawyer.
So less than 2% is correct?
No, less than 2% is false.
Okay.
Less
Oh, yeah,
than
yeah,
2%
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
are women accusing men falsely of rape.
Yeah.
Okay. No. That's it sounded weird that it less than 2% would be right.
Yeah.
No,
Jay
no.
just misheard.
I misheard
thought
it.
the
I
opposite,
came in
yeah.
halfway through. I'm sorry.
Can I talk about something like real quick? This is like kind of a side, but also kind of similar. It's like a bit of a psychological experiment. So I'm on TikTok, and right now on TikTok, there's this one particular person that I follow, and she's trying to sound the alarm on missing women in BC. And when you
yeah, I've come across her so often now.
and when you search like missing women in BC, there's like mixed results on it about like whether it's like a real concern. And I don't know, and I actually don't know if it's a real concern. I don't know if it's like people are. So I went to the BC like missing persons website, and I found that it seems to be like in equal parts missing women to missing men, if not more missing men. So I'm kind of curious as to like why the alarm is being sound for women and not for men, and like how long has like men just like violence against men has happened since forever, but it seems like women are the only ones talking about violence against women because it is kind of different. Like it's gendered when it's men versus women. I don't know. Anyway, that's the kind of what I talk about. Is like why do women feel the need to talk about missing women and men don't feel the need to talk about missing men?
What's the reason for the missing men?
Well, I mean, I don't know. What's the reason for the missing women? It's all a mystery.
Well, the
It just-
reason for the
it-
missing
it-
women
it-
is almost always violence against women. The reason
Right.
for missing men could be anything from like gang bullshit to
But how is
other
that
shit.
not violence
That's
against men?
violence.
Yeah, but it's violence against men, but it's
But
it's like
not specifically
two
because
different
of men.
groups of people choosing to be violent against each other. Women
Yeah.
don't
Can I be-
choose to be in a gang called women.
Can I be a little controversial right now?
Yeah, like I don't want to fight about it. I just want to actually discuss the reasons why.
I don't know.
I don't
that
want-
was
I'm not
like-
saying it's not a real thing for men, but like men often get into things where they get themselves killed because
No,
men
but
are.
like, why are men?
No. Don't victim blame men.
Why aren't men upset about violence against men? Why are women upset about violence against women, and like men aren't upset against violence against men?
I think because we usually know why it's being committed against us.
Because violence against men is usually due to stupidity.
No,
Violence
they
against
don't.
women is due to
There you go.
being
Well,
victim.
fucking stop it! Stop it!
Well, thank
Stop
you.
it there.
Yeah,
Stop.
that's what everyone's been trying to say to everyone, like in drug trades or in gang cartels, whatever. And I'm not saying that's all it is, and maybe there is some concern there, but like, there's such a history there that like, yes, dudes kill each other like literally nonstop. But when it's against women, there's almost no reason for it other than like power tripping men.
I don't think
I think
it's a legitimate reason to kill men just because it's men against men.
I'm not
That's
saying it's legitimate. I'm
No,
saying that's
no,
why
no,
everyone's
What I
ignoring
would say
it.
is, no, we're okay.
No, you're
We're-
not okay. I
we're
think you're
fine.
not okay. I think you're not okay.
I need
So I guess you recognize it. Violent
If I can chime in with a thought experiment, because this is one that I actually came across on TikTok that someone was like trying to explain, because I think in the States, like there's certain areas where it's like a lot worse. And I think this person was in the States, and what they were trying to liken it to was like if you're a guy, do this experiment. Go to the bank late at night, withdraw like a ton of cash, like $1,000 in cash or a lot of cash.
I don't have that kind of money.
Okay, just let her finish. Let her finish.
Like basically withdraw a large sum of cash, hold it in your hand, and walk home with that amount of money in your hand. And that the idea there is that it's meant to put you in a state of mind that women are kind of always in, because you essentially have something that other people want, your body. It's always there and like available in the sense that like it's visible. Like, you can't hide really the fact that you're a lady walking around. And that is the amount. Like it's similar to the amount of like how guarded people are when you walk around at night, right? Like you don't just
like that's how holding money is how you feel vulnerable, essentially.
Exactly. So it's like knowing that you have something that people might use violence to get from you.
Right.
And
so
that
my physical body is vulnerable.
Am I just
Maybe I am.
fucking ignorant?
I don't know, are you?
Why do you say that?
Why do you say that?
I say that because I don't walking down the streets. I don't like, even if I had $1,000 in my hand, like I know in the back of my head, like the worst thing that's gonna happen is I get jumped and I lose my $1,000. Like, and I'm saying that as a man, not as a woman,
Yeah,
right?
well, if you're a woman, it wouldn't be the same. No, maybe.
I get that women get like the shittier end of the stick. I get that. Like, don't say I'm not saying this, but for me, it's like I'm ignorant to the fact that I'm hoping everyone walking down the street is like us. Like I don't have that thought in the back of my mind, especially in Canada. I think we're highly privileged in Canada, even though crime happens. But like walking down like from Collins condo on Yonge and Lakeshore,
It was a good condo.
noticeably drunk, I get a deeper perception of walking downtown New York. Like and that's where my Canada privilege sets in. But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm sitting there thinking like nothing's gonna happen to me. I hope everyone's like me. I'll say, hey, hello, I'll give you a cigarette, like.
I think.
And that's my ignorance, I think. Right? It has to be ignorance.
It's not.
I don't think it's ignorance. I think it's different people have just have different experiences. Like, and the other thing is, like, I think for most men, there isn't this fear around being able to defend yourself if you had to, or an understanding of like the consequences might be lesser, versus like if someone jumped me or wanted to like attack me, there's really fuck all I could do.
Me too. No joke.
Oh,
I'm getting beaten up.
Beard help.
One
Like-
story that I can think of is like I remember like one night leaving Liz's house. It was maybe like 9 o'clock at night, and I was gonna walk home, and my walk home would have been about 40 minutes. And Liz was like, "You're walking home by yourself. Take a rock." Like she insisted that I take a rock, just have some sort of like thing on me that I could defend myself with. And it never occurred to me before. Like maybe I was ignorant and naive or whatever, and it was. I never needed the rock, but I took a rock. But it's just like, I don't know if it's like women are told from a young age to be like protective, but it's also for good reason that we're told that, because like, yeah, I've had my own like personal experiences where I've been assaulted, and like that's just like going to a bar and thinking you're gonna have a good night out, and it doesn't end up being a good night out. and that's just how it is. And that could be to like 1 of 6 women. That's how it could be, and that's just fact.
And I think I think that is why there's such a concern. Like the missing and murdered Indigenous women is a concern because those women are women with children and families. They're integrated into their communities, and it's their communities that are saying she wasn't planning to go anywhere. She wasn't engaged. Like many of them are engaged in sex work, and that is a reality of trauma and generational abuse and all kinds of just badness. But sex work does not mean that you should die, that you should go missing, that you should be abused, that you should be raped or assaulted. Like many of those women they're people who are integrated in a community, and the community is raising the alarms that this is a problem.
And all of them, like you use like say Robert Pickton in BC as an example, who's a serial killer and
Pig farmer.
And yeah, and he would pick up, and he would like his targets were people who worked in the sex trade, and people who worked in the sex trade raised the alarm with the police, and the police discounted what they were saying, and that's an interesting one because so like as shitty as it is, maybe you're discounting people in the sex trade because you're not believing what they're saying. Then you get into these things where the community's saying, hey, this person isn't supposed to be missing, and they're discounting it. Like, not to say that any of these people should ever be, like, every single one of them deserves justice and never should have been in that situation. Valuing your life based on your vocation is not the way that I would look at it, or anybody should. But that's the way that the police looked at it. Certainly in Robert Pickton's case, a guy who should have been caught far sooner. But he knew what he was doing. He knew the populations he was dealing with, and that happens all. Like you can look in Ontario at the stories they have about the Great Lakes freighters, but women going missing on those, and that just feeds into the whole the missing and Indigenous, like that whole like the missing women inquiry. The whole thing around it is like it's based on I don't want to say stories like those, but like. The reality is, a lot of people are going missing, and the authorities at least are missing.
And there's.
Go ahead, Eve. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say actually, there's some parallel to be drawn with Bruce MacArthur, who killed a whole bunch of gay men in the gay village, and police dismissed it as, well, they're all on drugs, like. Who knows what they're doing, but I don't value what they're saying to me. And so it's a parallel situation, right? Where it's a specific community that's being targeted, and they're vulnerable because the police turn a blind eye, or the authorities turn a blind eye for whatever reason, whether it's the kind of work, whether it's an ethnic reason, whether it's a sexual orientation reason. It's an opportunity for people who want to do that or to do that.
Man,
I gotta ask, I've never heard of this. Can you educate me on this Great Lakes fucking miner thing? Like, just give me a fucking synopsis on it, or a fucking
I really couldn't. Like, it's really just like it's a lot of, like, I guess, oral history, I suppose. I could probably find the McLean's article I read. Or there's other stuff. If you go to the Missing Women's Inquiry, they would have far more information than I would.
Okay, what was it?
But it's women working in the sex trade who are going missing.
So they're going missing and they're telling their story through McLean?
Well, McLean's would be one avenue. Like this,
Okay.
They wouldn't be the only ones, I guess.
What did you call it, the Great Lakes something?
Oh, Great Lakes freighters is like, because they go into Thunder Bay, they move around the freight. Like,
Yeah. That's like one of the theories about the missing women in the Western Canada is that it's like truck routes. Essentially.
Yeah, I think it was like I think both the UN, like Council for Human Rights, and some organization in the States, they've all kind of come out and said that there's like almost credible proof that there is some kind of a serial killer, or serial killers that are kind of at large in Canada that they're not taking seriously and that are using like truck routes is their theory. But they don't seem to entirely be like like there's greater instances in BC right now, because I think they're also starting to go a little bit beyond like just what the pattern has been in the past. And I think that's what that lady on TikTok has been like raising the flag about, because there seem to be other assaults and stalking situations. But they're, yeah, like I feel like they're just like super common. Yeah.
One of the things that's really really interesting in the States apparently is because every state kind of has its own jurisdiction. Truckers have like or people who cross state lines a lot have a lot more opportunity to commit crimes and not be like arrested or brought to justice for whatever.
When you're half a country away after, yeah.
Well, not even just half a country away, just across state lines, right? Like it becomes a lot harder to convict somebody. So it's like if people are crossing, not even crossing state lines, but crossing country lines because they're shipping stuff all throughout, that's a great opportunity for them to say, you know, obviously the person, not every person, not every trucker, but there is an opportunity there that people could take advantage of to do bad things and have a lot lower risk of getting caught.
Like if you kill, like, just the way it works, like if you kill someone in Massachusetts and you don't know them, and you do it properly and that you don't leave any DNA or anything like that, and then you drive to Ohio, the chances that you get caught are incredibly slim. And that gets to the point as well, like they don't share information great in the States either, because of those states, you know, there's 50 different.
Yeah, no reason why we know that. We just we know that. No reason.
No, but thanks to Andrew for clarifying the point. Like that's exactly the point, is that it's a lot of resources to investigate a murder or a missing person, and a lot of police jurisdictions, they don't have those kind of resources to then go and take all that information and make a concerted effort to share it, right? Like,
yeah, it's like impossible. Like, they have no way of aggregating it. Well, not no way, but they don't aggregate it. And so yeah, I just read a Slate article like 8 years ago about it.
Wait, did you read the one about a serial rapist who was like?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I want this article that I read that will like. It blew my mind. Like this.
It's like an I name in it. It could have been similar.
It was an insane article. I don't know if it's late, but I can try to find it. It was like it was like this.
If you had the article, I could tell you if it was it or not, but I don't. I just remember reading it and I was like, okay, well, that makes some sense. And it wasn't Slate. That I can know for sure.
Okay, let me try to find it. It was
not like kill people across the lines.
He definitely does not kill people.
And I actually don't think
provincial lines.
When I started that, unless Sam will read it, but now I have to.
It's really.
Now I have to lead in.
I think it's hilarious. Kill more people.
Are you the Zodiac killer? Blink once for yes.
Don't worry. He's like Dexter. He only kills other killers.
That whole like.
You guys would like my list.
Yeah. The thing is though that like whole like crossing state lines thing like doesn't really apply in Canada, like because we have the RCMP for one, and two, like our provinces are fucking massive. Like,
but if nobody's listening to.
Well, the point I would make with the RCMP is I would wonder about their competency. Like that would be my concern. And I wouldn't say that about like other like the FBI, but like. If something's happening in North Saskatchewan, just like even anecdotally, the stories I've heard about like a lot of those communities, especially when it involves like Indigenous people or Native people, it's it's just people not taking it seriously, and that's the first step to any of that, especially for our particular problem in Canada. Like that to me is a real issue.
Yeah, for sure. Like the racism and apathy in the institution is the problem, not the jurisdictions like we have.
Yeah.
Like
we probably are set up to do it properly if we wanted to, but I don't think that it's being done properly.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be borne out.
Shit.
Really dig into it.
I'm looking for a new keyboard.
Me too.
Or were you talking about was what was that? I'm talking to Colin in his stream.
Yeah,
In
sorry, I was
text.
just saying we heard like whatever you dropped and rolled across the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing I dropped?
No, it was a skewy.
Yeah.
I thought it was Jay. I thought Jay reached for something. I thought it was.
No, it wasn't me. I looked at my second monitor because it scared the shit out of me.
I thought you were playing marbles, man.
It was the little battery thing for our vape.
I was gonna say it sounded like a lighter. I was close.
Should be a Foley artist, Jay.
Thank you.
Actually, that's actually one of my favorite like TikToks that I've come across, was the ones of like different like sound artists making things where they have like the video and they're like watching it intently and like rattling something to a mic. So good.
The ASMR section.
Occasionally, I feel like TikTok recommends me videos on how I may have ADHD. Random like work jokes, ASMR stuff, sleepwalking videos. Like my TikTok is like all of the algorithms that pertain to me broken as fuck. Except it also seems to be acting as a therapist, which is weird.
I get it's quite
What is ASMR?
a sound MR.
Audio sensory something. It's when people like talk into their microphone but really closely and they make noise. And it makes your skin go tingly.
Dude, you're gonna lose
Wow, some more.
You're gonna lose you're gonna lose followers on Twitch, and one of them was me.
I need to change my underwear.
No kidding. That's the most creeped out I've been in a long time.
Dude, they like crunch fucking chip bags. They like rub shit together. Don't do it again. Okay.
The only thing I'm gonna do is slurp White Claw right close to it.
Yeah, that might be too much for me.
Yeah.
Might have to go to bed after that.
What kind of chip are you eating? Are you eating the extra crunchy ketchup that just came out?
The Terran chips.
Oh. I want to try the extra
Everybody
crunchy
was on that
ketchup
note to
chips.
say that there's a new extra crunchy ketchup chip that's out.
By Ruffles. I'm intrigued. You could dip that shit into any fucking chip dip.
Ketchup is the worst chip flavor.
It's a Canadian flavor.
That's right.
No, it's the
Yeah.
best.
My mind. No, ketchup, no. But
Speak truth to power, Liz. Yes. Yeah.
Liz walked back into the conversation and
E?
chose violence.
If I was at your place right now, E, I'd call you out to your balcony to throw fists. Because ketchup is not the worst flavor.
That's crazy. I bet she's got reach on you too.
She does. I'd get the shit kicked out of me, but I'd get one shot in there.
honestly, it's name a worse flavor than ketchup.
Barbecue.
Smoky bacon.
I could name
Prawn,
one.
no, prawn cocktail is actually pretty good.
Fucking regular.
Prawn cocktail?
Yeah, it was, I didn't hate it.
Sorry, what?
Pringles pizza.
What is that? Is that essentially cocktail sauce, like on a chip?
No one's had prawn cocktail chip? flavor?
No one's ever heard of that. No one's been in your dreams, Dylan. No one's ever been in your dreams.
You just go to the UK.
Oh, I've been in Dylan's dreams.
Oh, you gotta travel to get these chips.
Well, in the UK, I just had the real chips, French fries.
I'm not spending $1,500 on a flight to eat prawn chips.
Well,
Yeah.
back in the day, you could get them for $200.
I'm disappointed in all y'all.
Fucking hate you, Andrew.
I went to
But
the UK in February of 2020, round trip.
Ooh. You got out at the right time, but you came back.
Got back March 14th. The world changed. You guys fucked it up for me. Everybody kept getting COVID.
Dude, that's in like 24 and a half hours.
Yeah, that's right too.
That's kind of fucking weird to think about.
A year since the pandemic, basically.
You came back and we went on lockdown. So you brought it back to us, so you should be apologizing to us.
No, I locked down. I was a good guy. March 12th, I was in Girvan, Scotland. Is that right? Yeah.
I was supposed to leave to go to Mexico for a week.
Oh,
like
that's right.
Around this time last year, it was like the shit was kind of hitting the fan, and my family was like, I don't think we can go. So we didn't go. And like, while we would have been there, they started closing borders and shit. It was like, oh man, like when we made the decision, we were like, we're gonna regret this for sure. Like we're being overly cautious. And then a few days later, it was like, it was the right call.
You guys would have got stuck there.
We might have, yeah.
Yeah, I was
I
talking
think
to
that-
Boy and a buddy that I used to work with who moved out to BC. Like right around the same time, his wife Jackie and their son had traveled here to visit family. They couldn't get back to BC. Like they couldn't even travel in Canada for like 2 straight months.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Boy and he's like, it's
Their family
fucked
was
up.
separate for 2 months?
Yeah.
Holy
Hopefully they were with family.
Yeah, no, they have family here, but it was like
Okay.
not planned, so it was like a bit of a weird situation.
Well, and their
No,
kids were little too, right? Like that's
Yeah,
tough.
very very young children, not babies, but like very
Just-
like 1 to 2 years old.
Yeah, but it would make it 1,000 times worse.
Yeah,
If
100%.
if they didn't have family here and they had to pay
And,
for a
like,
fucking
literally-
hotel room.
Literally, hun, you set up the Zoom call for my birthday, and like I was like, oh shit, you made it home. Like that was the first time I heard that she made it home.
Right.
Oh, I remember that too.
How significant that was. But no, he works at Amazon. Like money's no object for them. Would have been fine.
I seem to remember you talking about.
Guy works fucking 90 hours a week now.
I seem to remember you talking about your trip to Cuba, like when I was trying to plan me going down to Toronto for my birthday and St. Patty's Day. I seem to remember Colin saying, "Oh, I think he's in Cuba," or
Oh, last year that we were gonna go to Mexico.
Mexico. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the plan.
That's fucked up that it's been a year. Holy
Yeah.
shit. That's crazy. Do you guys think the vaccine is gonna fucking accelerate the reopening?
The problem
I
is
hope
getting it
so.
in Canada.
Yeah.
Mom gets it tomorrow, which I'm happy for, but
Well,
I
that's
don't
good, yeah.
know what the regular person is like when they're gonna get it. She's only getting it because she works in the pharmacy at Walmart.
Yeah, frontline workers can get it in April.
In April. No shit, that's amazing. Yeah, like I'm expecting that I'll be able to get it, and I'm
Hey, get
lowest
it,
priority human.
Yeah.
Like, end of summer is my guess.
End of summer? Okay.
We recently launched it and it says like frontline workers, so it includes anyone that works retail, grocery stores, something.
Mm-hmm.
So I work at Walmart as
So
a
you can get-
fucking receiver?
But like
No, that's bullshit.
Jay, like I would think that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I would think that your business should put you well ahead of me. I would think in getting your
For
vaccine.
sure.
Well,
I-
Jay's will be phase 2 because he can't work from home. And that's what phase 2 people who, like certain groups who can't work from home, and that'll be somebody like literally that.
Well, that's where I don't know, because like my main source of living is the resort, which I work from home. But I bring a shit ton of fucking tourists in from different cities. And at the same time I work at Walmart. So I don't know. Like, give me the vaccination last. Like, I want to go to Mars. Like, put me on the first ship to Mars. It's like, give me the vaccination last.
With Health units, you gotta like call and set up the appointment when you feel ready.
No, I think there's far greater people on this planet that deserve the vaccination before
But
me.
Thanks,
what I
brother.
think that we should get it.
Fuck, not you.
We should get it as fast as they can, and it's gonna be fast and dirty. You know, maybe you get it before somebody really needs it, but like just The more people who get it, the better. The
So,
broader,
so
the broader
Yes,
it's
for
the
sure, for
better.
sure, for sure.
So one way you have to look at it, Jay, is not whether you as an individual need it, but if you're dealing with people, you're actually benefiting others by getting it.
Ah, true.
Yeah.
True.
That's a better way to put it.
Yeah, it really is. I hate that someone always has logic in my conversations. Because you just flip my fucking opinion around. No, great point. That's a great point.
If you want to talk about last, I work from home. I see very few people. I will be last, and I should be last.
Me too.
Yeah, like that's just the way it should work, right?
Like yeah, I feel like I'm very low risk. We have managed to live for a year. Not that it's always been great. Lately it's been tough, but we've been basically zero contact with anybody. Colin's all thumbs up. Colin's had a great year.
It's fucking hilarious that you've had less contact than me, and you guys live in Toronto, and I live in Algonquin Park.
We
It's
have a
kind of
lot
fucked
higher-
up if you think of it.
We have a lot higher risk though, right? Like we have to be a lot more careful.
Yeah, we don't go anywhere. Like, I go to the Rexall once a week, maybe twice a week. We get alcohol delivered.
Is it daily?
Not quite.
Yeah, I've been going to the grocery store once every 2 weeks. Like it's very infrequent. And that's it. That's pretty much it.
I see people while I work all day, and then I come home, and I'm alone.
Except for
Well,
us,
and Aster.
what now?
Yeah, so it seems like you should like that. That's the way you stop the spread.
Yeah, you're frontline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I should get my Ontario health card here soon.
I think that's probably a good plan.
Yeah.
It would probably be a good plan, even regardless of the vaccine conversation. What if you got COVID?
Well, I don't think they would like reject helping me.
No, they'd help you. They just charge you.
Well, I'll be like, here's my Alberta health card.
No, I remember.
They just like throw it right in the garbage.
I didn't have a health card for a time, and I was working at Western Hospitality. This is when I was in university, and I was telling this to like one of our managers, and she's like, "Yeah, you should get that taken care of," because I was like, I had my kid, and they didn't have their card for whatever reason, and just whatever for whatever reason they didn't have it, and they're like, "Yeah, we won't serve them," and which isn't true, but they will charge you. But she was like kind of freaking out about it a little bit.
Yeah,
And they will charge you. Like that's the way it
Yeah.
works. It's very like, if you don't have it, here's your bill.
yeah, 100%.
But you'll get helped. Obviously, nobody
Yeah.
gets turned away. Even in the States, they don't turn you away. They just bill you a lot more than here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Never mind. I'm not going to talk about it.
Well, now we're all
It's
just like
better to have
wondering
a
what
card.
you were going to talk about.
Are you gonna advocate for everybody not to have a health card?
No.
No, I would like, would they actually charge you at a Shoppers or something getting a vaccine that's being provided by the federal government for free to everyone in the country? Like, I don't.
They
Well,
would
I'm
charge you.
talking about healthcare in general. I'm talking about like any services David wants to access in Ontario. I don't know about the vaccine in particular.
Did they even ask for a health card when we did?
The flu, if you want the flu shot, they charge you if you don't have a health card.
But they were still gonna do it.
That's nice, bro.
I think there should be a claim system, like your insurance. You know, you should be able to be like, I'm from Alberta, so maybe you charge me,
Work
just
in
get the money
progress.
back, and you claim it through the Alberta government.
Yeah, I mean, really, I just need to get my Ontario health card, and it'll
Yeah.
like.
I mean, you're not going anywhere. You should
I
probably.
mean, I've only been here for 6 years now or something. I don't know.
So definitely you should just get it. David, we don't want to start a GoFundMe for you, brother.
Oh, I mean, I could probably make a lot of money with a GoFundMe.
I'll do what you got to do. Just, I prefer you're faking it and you had your health card as opposed to actually needing it.
Oh well, thank you, Andrew. That's very kind of you.
That's just how I'm feeling.
Yeah. I know no one
White
agrees
wine
with
makes me
you.
emotional though, so.
No one agrees with you, but that's okay. I appreciate that. So I will get my Ontario Health card just if at the least just to put you at ease.
Thank you.
I had to, like, when I went where I let it lapse for like 4 or 5 months. I went to the Service Ontario and they're like, why didn't you renew it? And I was like, well, they sent me the renewal 3 months before and I thought that was too early. So I didn't think about it again. And they didn't send me anything else. And she's like, well, you got to prove that you live in Ontario then. I was like, well, I can do that. I can pull up my pay stubs on my phone. She's like, no, you got to print them out. Okay, that's fine. I'd already gone through like 3 months, so it didn't matter. But I had to like print out a bunch of pay stubs. I went. The next time I went, I didn't care like one bit.
No.
I feel like I got the wrong person who actually thought I didn't live in Ontario as opposed to like they thought I'd be coming back from somewhere.
Yeah, you must have gone in there. You went in there. You're wearing a dirty hoodie, and they were like, "Fuck this guy!" Like,
yeah.
You pronounced about slightly wrong, and they were like, "This guy's out of province for sure."
I was like, I actually wish I'd been somewhere else, but I have only been here. So, unfortunately, I can prove to you quite well that I have been here. I appreciate. I'd love to know what you think I was doing. That would be interesting. Yeah, good times with the base stuff.
Has anyone done their taxes yet?
Oh,
Andrew has.
Yeah.
This is late for us.
Sorry, Lindsay?
I said it's late for us. I haven't done them yet. Usually I have by now.
I still gotta do mine. I haven't done it.
I've just been
I
lazy.
still gotta hand mine to mom's account.
me too.
I feel like I just can't believe we're this far into 2021 already.
mm-hmm.
It feels like it's gone really fast for not having anything to do.
It all feels the same. Like 2021 doesn't feel all that different from the end of 2020.
Well, except that we're going to see George Springer playing for Jays.
I have this like
obviously
recurring dream
From the
that
Houston Astros.
Yep.
The house.
Oh yeah, you did say that.
Yeah, that was.
I have this recurring dream, like this recurring nightmare that I wake up and it's the end of COVID, but I look in the mirror and I'm like a senior citizen. Like I look in the mirror and I'm all wrinkles and I'm all gray and I'm like a different human being than I was when we went into COVID. And
Oh.
like,
What does that mean? I wish we had like a tell you what that
Well,
means.
I can tell you definitively it means you're a ghost.
it means ghosts are real.
Proof.
I'm not talking about just you're a ghost.
I don't care if they're real or not. I just want to find out.
I didn't mean to bring this up
truth.
again. Sorry, let's continue.
Would
Hey, you can't. I just want to throw one thing in, and it's you can't prove a negative. So like that's the problem with something like
Yeah, that's why it was better that we weren't talking about it.
No, what do you
Yeah.
mean? What
I
do you,
fucked up.
what do you mean you can't? No, David. What do you mean you can't have a negative?
like you can't prove that ghosts don't exist. You
Just like
could
you
prove
can-
if they did exist, but you may just ghosts could exist and like
I don't care if they do or not. Like, I'm not trying to prove if they do or not. Well, I am trying to prove if they do or not. I don't care either way. Like, I'm not trying to be biased in the outcome. I just want to know one way or another.
you can't prove they don't exist though.
Why not? Why not?
It's impossible to prove something
Why?
doesn't because like something can exist and you just don't have that knowledge.
No, but can you prove that it does exist?
Yes.
Okay, so
'Cause
why
you
are
can
we
have-
doing that? What? I don't know what your point is. Actually,
it's like you can't prove that God doesn't exist.
Right.
Because
yeah, but
like
what is your point?
The point is that anyone claiming that ghosts don't exist can't prove it.
Yeah.
The onus of proof is on people that want ghosts to exist.
Yes.
Like
But
the people that disbelieve can't like prove their point. It's a theory.
Okay. But like, what's your point in mentioning that?
Because you said you want to know definitively yes or no, and I was telling you that it's impossible to.
I don't think it is
not.
So Reed, the only possible answer, the only possible definitive answer is somehow that ghosts do exist. But many of us don't believe they exist, and it's impossible to prove that they don't exist.
I don't think it's impossible though. Like why? Like if we just put our minds together, we could probably figure out what's going on here.
But okay, imagine somebody comes up with a theory that ghosts are some kind of manifestation of memories and electrostatic combined, let's say. And you can say, okay, ghosts aren't that. I can scientifically prove ghosts aren't that. And then you go, you know what? Maybe ghosts are this other thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't have instruments to detect what ghosts are yet. But
Yeah.
that will go on forever. It's the same. It's a moving post, as David described earlier. Like there's always a way that you could imagine that ghosts could exist. And there's
Yeah.
no way to disprove all of the possible ways.
No, isn't that the scientific method? Is that you keep trying until you figure it out?
But that's to prove a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
that's like, so why aren't we trying to like, but like but like not trying to prove a positive. Like you want to prove a negative too, right? Like
You
I want to
can't
prove a negative as well.
Can't
Like I want to
prove a
prove
negative.
that ghosts don't exist, or I want to prove that they do exist.
Okay,
Why is
you
it
know what you could
impossible
do?
to either
You know
or.
what you could do? You could prove that like if you put together a theory that ghosts exist a certain way, we might be able to prove that wrong. Like that's what Elizabeth was saying. Like if you give us
Okay, well, look, why do you need a theory in the first place? Why can't we just figure it out? Why do you need a theory? Like why can't we just figure it out?
Because
Like well, you're focused on this idea of a theory.
Like
Like
define ghosts then.
define ghosts. It's like an experience that many people seem to have. I don't even know how to define
Slimer.
it. Nobody has tried. Why hasn't anybody even tried?
But that's
People have 100% tried.
Okay,
the key
okay.
there would just
Leave
be
me alone,
defining
you
what you're looking
motherfucker.
for.
So I don't have the answers there. I don't know like how to define ghosts. You define ghosts. Somebody else define ghosts.
But if you want to,
But then tell me.
but if you want to do it scientifically, because the point, like, goes to a lot of different things, right?
Yes.
So it's like, so we determine, so like, we'll just choose one thing, right? Not to say that all ghosts are all this, but like, okay, ghosts are something that turn on our fan, right? They turn on our fan at some point.
Right.
So that's the criteria.
Or it's a figment of my imagination.
It could be either, but like no,
Yes.
but let's again, like this is the way we'd have to look at it, right?
Yes.
Ghosts turn on our fan.
Yes.
And then we would study this, determine how this fan turns on.
Yes.
Whether it's, it could be ghosts, but whatever it is.
It's an internal
What
thermostat.
we're talking about is just defining what we're studying and then studying it and then going from there. Because the thing you're talking about is like very broad.
No, what I'm talking about is exactly what you're talking about. Like, I don't know why we haven't figured it out yet. Like, why haven't we solved ghosts yet? It's a very simple question. Why have we not solved ghosts yet?
You guys want the answer on ghosts?
No.
Well,
Check my Tinder
yeah,
account. Because I get
Oh.
fucking ghosted, bro.
God.
No.
Okay,
I'm talking
okay.
about why is there no
Okay.
serious scientific method towards ghosts? It's an
I wish there was.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery of life, and nobody has taken the scientific method to it. Am I wrong in saying that? And am I crazy in saying that nobody has taken the scientific method towards ghosts?
Have you Googled it?
I'm eating off your appetizer plate. Like I want to believe. But what they're saying is you cannot prove a negative. Is saying like, okay, there's no fucking solid foundation to this argument.
I think saying you cannot prove a negative stops people from even trying.
But there's been
No.
everyone trying.
That's the whole. Remember, we were talking about the scientific method. That's the whole point of it. You can only. The reason people have to put a theory forward is you can't prove something that there isn't a theory of. Now, if you're so, you need to present a solid theory. You can't just be like ghosts. That's the theory. No. Like there needs to be more than that because, like Andrew mentioned, you have to define ghosts in that circumstance. Like you actually have to define everything before you can find if it's right or wrong.
Okay. I accept that premise.
Okay.
I accept that premise, and I am willing to shut up, but I have more questions. And if you will allow me, I will ask those questions. But if you want me to shut up, I will also shut up.
I would never ask you to shut up. So
Okay, but like, why? Still, why have we not solved ghosts?
Because they don't exist, and it's impossible to prove they don't exist.
How is
The
it
peop-
impossible to prove that they don't exist? Why is it impossible
No
to
theory.
prove that they don't exist?
You need a hypothesis. You need ghosts are boom. And if you say, okay, ghosts are physical things like tables. Well, we can prove that ghosts are not physical things like tables because they don't have any of the properties of tables. So we can prove that, but that is not the singular experience of ghosts. And that is not the
I think
theory.
you're wrong. I think you all are entirely wrong in that because science existed before we knew. Like, we asked questions before we knew answers. You have to ask questions before you knew answers. You can't just like. I mean, I guess like. Do we need a hypothesis to solve questions? Do we need a hypothesis? Or, like, why can't we just ask questions? I'm just asking. Like, why do I need a hypothesis to even think about solving the answer? Like, why can't we just discuss like?
okay, so this is okay. You know what? I've got a little explanation. Remember how we were talking about earlier how people you know, people have been seeing ghosts or believe in ghosts for a millennia. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted by the cat noises there.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's me just being half cut. So, okay. So, this is where people used to just make stuff up about solutions because they didn't have theories. They just they didn't have facts proving things. They just had they said the sun rises, right? So then they just made up based on their limited knowledge base why the sun rises.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that doesn't prove anything. Like just making something up doesn't.
I agree with you 100%, David. I agree with you 100%. But I feel like everybody just accepts the knowledge that we have right now, and they're like, okay, I'm fine with that. And we stopped asking questions, and we're like, we can't prove ghosts. All of you are like, we can't prove ghosts, so no reason.
No. But what we're trying to tell you, is you can't prove a negative on anything. We're not just talking about ghosts. You cannot prove a negative on any topic without presenting information first. Even those people who used to think like the sun, you know, the sun, it's the
David,
sun god.
Okay, I'm sorry that I am an exhausting human being. I'm so sorry, Jay, that I am an exhausting human being.
No, I had my cat on my shoulder, and Lindsay went and picked up her cat because I think she got jealous that I had a cat and she didn't.
Oh, okay.
That's what I laughed at.
No,
I'm sorry.
He totally came in my face as you held your cat.
Go on, Reek. Go on. Don't. No. Reek, go. Sorry.
I don't know how to ask my question to get you guys to understand what I need to know. So just give me some time to think on it.
Okay, definitely. Doug did just post a article on proving a negative that you may want to read on when you have a moment.
Oh, Wikipedia. We're calling these articles now?
Look, do you see the amount of references in there? Okay.
I have a lot of respect for Wikipedia. I support them every time that fucking blinking thing comes up.
I don't do it every time, but I have done it on a few occasions.
I'm not gonna lie, Colin. I've never seen a teleporter that's not built in my hands, and that looked hilarious. Sorry, I'm just watching a stream because I'm addicted to Valheim, and I want to play now, but my internet sucks.
Okay, I'm gonna try again.
Okay. Perfect.
Allow me to try again. If anybody wants to take this on, if you were to try to solve the mystery of whether or not ghosts exist, how would you take it upon yourself to figure it out? Like, you're not trying to prove if they exist or if not. You just want to know what's going on. If you were to do that, what is the method that you would take to figure out what's going on?
First, I would define what a ghost is.
I would just go to a haunted house that's ranked in the top 10 in the world.
But I think the thing is
No, that's a very valid question. What is a ghost? Let's define our terms. What's a ghost?
But there are lots of people that are trying to prove the positive existence of ghosts by taking like electromagnetic sensor things, whatever those are called, into haunted houses and trying to find.
No. Okay, so subtract all of that. all
No,
of,
but I think
all of the people that are here.
Oh, E froze it.
that is
Perfect
very
time.
relevant. That is a very relevant point. That the
Language. Young kids are coming in. Just carry on. Sorry, E.
Okay.
positive proof is the way to approach it. If you want to prove whether they exist or not, you take all of the scientific instruments at your disposal and try to detect them, right? And maybe that's brain sensors of the people who say they've witnessed them. Maybe that's EMF. Maybe that's, who knows? But it's, you take everything at your disposal. It's temperature sensors. It's everything. Bring them into a place. Hopefully, a phenomenon happens, and you can sense it, and you develop your theory. But I think the problem is there hasn't been a substantial amount of evidence in that regard to support the theory that ghosts do it. And it's impossible to say they don't, because you could say, oh, well, they just didn't show up that night. Or, oh, well, you've got the wrong instrument. Oh, well, XYZ, right? Like, it's impossible to say, no, they don't exist. So all you can do is say, yes, they do exist. And that there's not sufficient evidence right now to say, yes, they do exist.
And is that like sufficient for everybody? Is everybody just like okay with being like, all of these people claim to have these experiences, but science can't prove it, so I will just dismiss it? Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Dude.
My first answer was, I'm not dismissing it. I do not dismiss it. I think it's a valid experience, but I don't necessarily think you can equate it to, you can't explain it with it's a ghost. It's something significant for that person.
So we're just like thousands of years of thousands of ghost stories. We're just gonna dismiss that.
It's not dismissing. It's just not
That sounds
ghosts.
like-
It's the fucking brain.
Well, but like we don't know what the answer is. We don't know what the brain is. So like you can't give me any alternative answer. So how can you claim to know anything?
How can you? Okay, so you believe it's ghosts. I
I'm
don't.
I'm not claiming to know anything. I'm just trying to ask questions, and I'm getting a lot of flack for asking questions. That's how I feel, and maybe I'm like a little bit defensive about it, so I'll back down.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Jay, go. Jay's got his hand up. Just let him go.
Yes. One of the most influential fathers in my life was my best friend Neil Landry's dad, Rick Landry. Rest in peace, sir. He passed away like just before Christmas. He claims he saw a Sasquatch. He taught me a lot about woodworking. He taught me a lot about life. He taught me a lot about myself. Do you guys believe in Sasquatches? Like, that's a legitimate question. I don't.
Believe, but I can't know everything, and if somebody believes something, like maybe there's something to that. I can't solve that mystery of why they believe that. I would love to solve
for
the mystery
sure.
of why people believe things.
So,
But I won't dismiss it immediately.
So I've had a lot of conversations over the years, especially with work, going into people's homes.
You lived in BC too. There's Sasquatches out there if they're real. There is.
And people have had conversations with me that if I didn't know, like, there were things where they would bring up and they didn't understand how these things worked. So to them, it didn't make any sense. But I did understand how they worked. So I was able to educate or inform them. But if I also didn't already know those things, like, people jump to conclusions all the time. People do not, like, and this is where there needs to be a process that we can follow to figure things out. Because if there isn't a process, then people like Donald Trump will get elected because people are following QAnon, because QAnon is just questioning things and they're putting doubt in people's minds, and they don't have a scientific process of some kind to follow to be like, this most likely does not make sense or does not exist. And instead they're just throwing things at people and being like, it's just questions. And then they start doubting what they know. And even though there's proof, there's tons of proof of certain things, they will start believing the bit that there isn't complete proof of. Anyways, I'm not sure how to say that.
I bring up the Sasquatch, and I made fun of the guy that, like, He was literally my second dad for 6 months when I was kicked out of the house. I was living at his house, working for him, doing that shit. He said he saw a Sasquatch, and then I'm sitting here thinking, like, fuck you, person I love. Everyone, like 70% of northern Canada people have trail cams because they're all hunters. Where's the fucking proof of a Sasquatch? I'm not gonna believe that shit.
See, Jay, the Sasquatch are so advanced that they are able to just keep themselves hidden.
Oh,
In fact, the Sasquatch is actually basically Russian Marines with cloaking technology. Most people don't see them.
I thought it was Predator.
It's Predator with the cloaking technology.
Yeah, exactly. That's where my head went. But I say that about ghosts as well. That's what I meant with this whole side of the conversation is I want to believe in ghosts. I just don't have concrete evidence right now.
I listened. Sorry, I'll try to make this as brief as possible. I listened to this podcast recently about Sweden, and Sweden was like super neutral in I think the Second World War. They were not picking fights with anyone, et cetera, et cetera. But at one point, a Russian sub was like in the water off the coast of Sweden. No, it was the Cold War. Sorry, not World War II. A Russian sub was found. And while they were investigating this Russian sub, they had these sound sensors that detected this noise. So then they helped the Russian sub get away. They had no army. They had no way of doing anything. They felt like it was maybe a bit threatening. So then they amped up their army and they amped up all of these sound sensing devices just so that in future they could pick up this noise associated with these Russian subs, et cetera, et cetera. They do this for years and they are constantly picking up noises of Russian subs in their water. And it turns out after decades of their whole army being on the lookout for these Russian subs with these sound sensing devices, it's the sound of herrings. The whole time they thought it was the sound of Russian subs in the water. The Russians weren't sending any subs. It was always these fish and the way that the fish deal with stress and also like choose their, I don't know what it's called. It's not altitude, depth in the water.
I read that article.
You read it?
Yeah, I put my hand up so I could answer before you said what it was.
Sorry.
And you didn't say it.
I'm sorry, Jay.
I read fucked up articles, but yeah, that was...
It was a podcast that I listened to. But yeah, it was probably the same source. Like, it's like, but it's so interesting, right? Because it's like you get a little bit of data and you use that to explain what you've seen, but it can be so misleading if you don't have the whole picture, right? Like if you've never listened to the water before, and you only have heard it the one time that you sense this threat, then every time you hear that same noise, even though it's a very natural, normal noise, you always associate it with that threat, right? So,
yeah, for sure.
So,
Hi, Greg.
if I can get your attention for a sec.
yeah.
Okay, so I do have a question for you. Because I understand what you're saying about should we stop asking questions, you know? And what I want to ask is, do you think you personally could understand all knowledge in one lifetime? Like everything there is to learn about anything, do you think you personally could, in one lifetime, absorb all that knowledge?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't think that. I think there is a limited amount of knowledge that each generation can teach to the next generation, but we should be doing that. But right now, generationally, the knowledge that is the most important is the most profitable information. And in fact, the most profitable information is hidden from the general population. So we're like in a weird kind of dark ages. No, that's like beyond, I'm gonna shut up now.
Okay, yeah, I like you're definitely going down the rabbit hole a little bit. That's fine. You know, rabbit holes are fun.
Hold on. Let me backtrack. What was your first question?
Okay, my question was just, do you think you personally could absorb all the knowledge there is in one lifetime? And you answered no.
Absolutely
Okay.
physically impossible.
So this is where this is where you know, when essentially you're like, why aren't we asking? Why do we just take people's word for it? And essentially, what I'm trying to say to you is that the only way we can know or be continue to advance is if we don't start over every single time. We need to take some of the history. So like this, like
that's never what I was asking. That's never what I was saying.
what I'm trying what I'm trying to say is that we need to accept some information because we can't just learn everything ourselves all the time. That's the point. So you had asked earlier, do we just accept what people tell us? And the point I'm trying to make is that if you want to keep advancing, you do need to accept what people tell you, you know, experts per se, you know?
Well, no, I think a lot of people take what like experts say as like in particularly in terms of ghost exploration. I guess this is like such a dumb topic. It's so
no, it's
so dumb. But like people are like, we can't figure it out. So there's no point in figuring it out. So I think we just stopped trying to figure it out. I think that's what happened. And so people are just like, ghosts are like this fun ghost story. So we just stopped solving the mystery. And then, but like I personally would like to solve the mystery.
But
like
have you even done any research? You're asking a Zoom call.
What are you talking about? Like no, like I've done
fucking
research.
Google if
like,
people looked into figuring out if ghosts exist.
Yeah, no, I've looked into this, but there's no solid information. There's no solid information.
And
and it's all a joke. Like if you bring it up, people don't take you seriously. There's no solid scientific information on ghosts. Like yes, there's ghost hunters on TV. Yes, there's like information, like the information on the brain and how the brain works is very limited. We don't know anything. We literally don't know anything about ghosts.
Yeah. Is the reason we don't know anything about ghosts because nobody looks into it, or because people have looked into it and found it, wanting?
And I would agree with Andrew.
I feel like it's the same sort of like, imagine you're trying to prove that like sea monsters don't exist, right?
Oh, they do.
Do they or don't they? Right?
Valheim.
Well, they fucking do in Valheim, that's for sure, and they kill us every time. But what I mean is like we don't have the technology that we need to like trawl the entire ocean and find like every waterway in the world and make sure that there's no sea monster in every spot, right?
Are you sure? Because we're trying very hard to get to Mars and explore Mars, but we can't get to the depths of our own ocean. Like, what are you talking about?
Mars is actually easier.
Why? What? Yeah, but like, why is Mars? You know, it doesn't matter whether Mars is easier or whatever. I don't know.
So try applying the themes you're talking about to God. Try applying it to aliens.
We tried.
What does that matter?
That's the same argument. That's the same argument.
It does matter. It's the exact same thing. Fucking UFOs. It's what Jay brought up. It's Sasquatches. It's vampires. It's literally anything that is myth.
Oh no, vampires are real. Okay, guys.
No, but my issue isn't like whether it's myth or not. It's like why we can solve these things.
And they've been solved. They don't exist.
That's you can't and this is where the point we were trying to get to. You can't solve a negative. Essentially, we've not found sufficient evidence.
So where's the proof that ghosts don't exist? So maybe I'm unaware of the proof that ghosts don't exist.
Because there isn't. You can't prove a negative, but there's no proof that they do exist.
Yeah, but Dave, that argument is...
Okay, shut up for a second. Wait, so can you prove a positive?
Yes.
Okay, so why aren't we trying to do that? Wait, but like, are you saying that we haven't done it? Is that what you're saying? Like, just treat me like I'm fucking dumb. I'm not.
No.
I'm not trying to be defensive. Just
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You sound like me now.
Yeah.
Am I dumb or ignorant? What's going on here?
We can't prove a negative. You're telling me we can't prove a negative. Can we prove a positive?
So
wait, hold on. I'm even dumber.
Yeah.
What is proving a negative in terms of proving ghosts, and what's proving a positive in terms of proving ghosts?
Okay, so like a positive would be like, look, there's a ghost right here, and we all see it, and like we're like, oh my god, ghosts exist.
Something negative.
Okay, and this is where I can't prove that there isn't a ghost. Like we don't see a ghost. Okay, nobody here sees. I hope nobody here sees a ghost right now. Okay,
so aside from negatives and positives, how do we explain the experience of ghosts? Aside from whether they exist or don't, how do we explain?
Okay, that's a good point. You know what?
That's what I'm trying to say the entire time. That's what I've been trying to say. I'm gonna shut up.
Okay.
He brought hand gestures into this one.
But you're dealing in belief, right? So that you can't argue with the belief, because let's just switch ghost to alien.
It's not.
I bet everyone in this Zoom call would say aliens do exist, even though we can't prove it.
So everyone I'm going to bring up a point that Elizabeth made earlier. Remember when you were talking about being in the dark, and how I think it was Elizabeth who made the point that like maybe the reason why we think ghosts exist, is because in the dark there was we had to be wary of predators. Okay, so essentially you need to. There's an explanation for everything. There is an explanation for everything, but you need to be very specific on what you're trying to accomplish.
So I want to speak to that, but not in this context. I have a thing that I want to speak to with regards to like human survival in the past. That's super creepy, but it has nothing to do with this current conversation.
So save it for later.
That's what I'm doing. I'm putting myself in the queue.
Yeah, he's
I didn't hear what Colin said. Colin, could you quickly repeat that? I'm sorry.
I was just trying to put myself in the queue for something related to what Elizabeth said earlier that David just recently brought up and reminded me of. I'm just putting myself in the queue that has nothing to do with this current conversation. It just has to do with human survival and like seeing things.
Can I steal your thunder?
I actually believe.
I want to steal everyone's thunder here. It looks like Dylan and Askew are on opposite ends of this conversation right now.
Yeah,
and it looks like they're arguing.
I was actually going to say that I feel like ghost stories are a little bit involved with survival instincts. I actually think emotions are all just about survival in some sort of fashion. So I'd be interested to talk to you about like that.
No, I think that's entirely accurate, right? Like, I think ghosts can be explained, but they can't be explained in the way that like you can explain like a flash of light that happened in your apartment. Like it's explained in perceptions and explained in your emotions and explained in like.
Okay, so I've been doing like a lot of like physics research recently, and I learned about this physicist who he did a lot of research with light. And he did so many experiments with light that he damaged his own ability to perceive light. So he spent like the last years of his life in dark rooms alone. And so he was trying to figure out the physics of light entering the eye and like the physics, like the math of like your brain calculating light or like what your brain does with light. It's called psychophysics. And like, that's what I've really been interested in right now.
No, like, really, really interesting though. It's a really cool field.
And I think that kind of leads into like the ghost thing because like your brain can trick you to believe things. But okay, I've said it a million times, but for real, I'm gonna shut up.
Thank you. I'm joking. I swear to God, I'm joking. I'm just that kind of fucking asshole.
Colin, do you wanna jump in? I think there's a lot.
Okay, with regards to the weird human survival instinct and what may have happened in the past and given us some sort of weird instinct, I read this thing and it's a Reddit post. It's probably just people memeing or being fun, but it was really like one of those like, what's the creepiest? It was like a question thing. Was like, what's the creepiest like? Not a fact, but like a thing that might be a fact or whatever. And my favorite one was like, why does the uncanny valley exist? The uncanny valley being like when we try to like make an accurate human representation in like computer animation or robotics. Why do we as humans like go, that's wrong on a fundamental level, but we can't actually point to exactly why it's wrong. We just know it's wrong. And the one of the best theories for that is that once upon a time, humans had a predator that would mimic human form but couldn't quite perfect it, and we got used to noticing it. But then
that'd be
something
fucking
wiped
awesome.
that predator out, and we have no idea why.
I read a different theory about that whole thing, is that there were different evolutions of humanoids, and there was multiple ones, so we all fought against each other to eliminate each other, but because we were all quite similar, that uncanny valley was put into our brains to attack something that didn't look exactly like us, even though there was several evolutions of the human
Yeah,
race.
it's instinctual now.
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
eventually we just eliminated each of those not races, but evolutions of the humanoids, to the point that we got to where we are with, whether you want to call it Neanderthals or whatever. Like, that was a theory I read. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's a neat theory.
I really like that, Lindsay, actually.
Sorry,
I feel like...
I think it's Skew's talking, but you guys are far from the mic now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was saying I like that theory because I think it's like I've definitely heard that one before about the other humanoids that existed. Like, because that's been proven, right? Like, they found other like extinct human adjacent races essentially that are like not Homo sapiens but like other ones, and they used to be at war. So yeah, that's
Yeah, but it was only the two, right? It was just Neanderthals and humans. Homo sapiens.
There's one. I think there's at least one other, and I think the evidence points to either we hunted them out, like we took all the resources, or we just killed them. It's basically one or the other. There's some inbreeding that happened, but mostly those entire species are gone from getting killed or.
That's both dark, but also.
Did we prima-nocta them?
That's not what you think that means.
It's a big word that I don't know what it means.
It means you get to bang the person's wife before he does.
Oh.
Okay, that's fucking
Read
weird.
them out.
Okay, let's stay on topic. Ree?
Oh, I was gonna go on about DNA. Because I learned because I did like the 23andMe, I got my DNA test done, and I learned that, oh shit, I totally forgot what it was. How did this start? Liz, what was the last thing you said?
Okay, I know where you're going. We were talking about inbreeding between Homo sapiens and like it wasn't Homo neanderthalis, but it was like what percentage of like Neanderthal DNA exists in you from your 23andMe results?
Right, I do have some Neanderthal DNA, but I don't remember where I was going with that.
You have like 2%, which is slightly more than the average population.
Yes, that is true. But I don't remember where I was going with that.
Okay, sorry, and I can't.
Maybe I just wanted to make it about myself for a second, and that's what I did.
It is really cool that you know how much Neanderthal is in you.
I think it's actually pretty fascinating that they thought that Neanderthals were like extinct like a decade ago, and it wasn't until recently they started doing all this like DNA information mining that they found out that actually we interbred with them.
So it kind of brings up another interesting thing. Like, the way we classify species isn't like the be-all end-all, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of what this gets to, you know? Like what is a new species? Like, is it every time something isn't identical in DNA? Like what percent of DNA change makes it a new species versus being the same but just like with a mutation?
And that's like I remember learning in biology that like a species was anything that like could reproduce with another of its species and have offspring that could then reproduce, right? So if you have a horse and a donkey, they reproduce and make a mule, but a mule can't reproduce, like it's sterile. So donkeys and horses are separate species because they can't reproduce and make viable offspring. But to the point of like genetic inbreeding between Homo neanderthalis and Homo sapiens, or Homo sapiens sapiens, I guess, you get obviously offspring that can have their own offspring. So we are, I guess, we're the same species by that definition, but maybe that definition is wrong.
You change the definition and all of a sudden it's completely different. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry if I stole your thunder there, David.
Not at all. No, thank you. You elevated it. So.
I have a question that's somewhat related to this conversation and to Ree's conversation. How does like everybody feel about phobias, for instance? Talking about evolution and being afraid of things. I have something called trypophobia. I don't know if anybody else does.
I've heard of it.
It's
I
something.
understand it.
It's something that. So any kind of phobia that you might have, that's something like it's a fear of holes or clusters of things. And I've done a lot of research on it just because I'm curious to why I've always felt that way. And it's like it dates back. It goes back in history or whatever. Like it's one of those. What's that thing that's with the ears, with the wiggling of the ears? What's that? Vestigial.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like it's like one of those things. Anyway, like talking about ghosts and stuff like that, like I feel like maybe that's always been like something that's just always grown with us, to be afraid of those things, just like a trypophobia, something like that, is to be afraid of holes and clusters of things because it's like a recognized danger of like. It's okay. Primal probably a better word then. Anyway, so dating back, it could be just something that some people fear things like ghosts more because I don't know, it's something that is brought forward from before.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I
The
100%.
belief system is in there as well too. Like, oh, it's just my piece of this.
No, I can say 100% that like my two motivations in life, and like this is like I am expressing a lot with these people right now because I don't talk a lot. So, like the two things that I like are my fears and my wants. Those are like my two biggest motivations in life. Those are the two main sources of energy in my life, are my fears and my wants. So fears can like come out in anxiety, stress, and my wants are like I just want to eat the most delicious foods and I just want to be high and not think. And like those are my wants and my needs, and those are my two main sources of energy. But unfortunately, those are not good sources of energy. Like, where am I going with this? Why? How did this start? I'm gonna stop talking now. Wait, does anybody want me to continue? What was I talking about? Can anyone tell me what I was talking about?
You're talking about getting high at one point, and I just got a new one-hitter today. So I'll probably see you guys tomorrow. Because this is gonna fuck me the fuck up.
I just like I think that fear is like actually something that we can convince ourselves in order, like it's like a survival instinct is to tell ourselves that we're okay, because it's a survival instinct to tell us that are okay, to ignore all of the bad things that are happening in the world, because you can't live your life knowing all of the bad things that are happening in the world, so you have to ignore them all. So it's like a survival instinct to just be like, I care about me, myself, and the people that I love, and that's it.
Survival instinct is a good way to put it, actually.
Yeah. Because that's all you really can do, right? I don't know.
I mean, so Ree, like, it's an interesting, it's interesting because, like, I appreciate that you've told us what your motivations are, like your essentially your life driving forces, but like mine would not be equal to yours.
Okay, what are other people's life driving forces? Like, what gives you energy? What makes you get up every day? Like, what do you, like, yeah.
Monotony. Boredom. That's what gets me up in the morning.
It doesn't sound like a motivator.
It really isn't.
Why do people get out of bed every day? I would love to know.
afternoon.
Money.
I get out of bed because I'd lose my job if I didn't.
Exactly, money.
I get out of bed 6 months of the year.
Wouldn't you love like a different reason to get out of bed?
What's my driving force? My fucking dumbass cat that's getting way too much
Maybe.
attention tonight?
Maybe. So like,
Actually,
so like happiness could be a driving factor. And then you look at happiness and like, okay, so it could be a selfish happiness, or it could be a happiness that's derived from making others around you happy.
I'll give you a happiness of today. I went into town. I went to the cannabis store, had a great experience there. Went to Home Depot, found the bathroom for Cottage 3. Success! Got Tim Hortons, came back. Colin messaged me and said, trivia is on. And I'm like, tonight's gonna be a Zoom night with everyone I love on this planet. I'm like, there we go. So I got out of bed this morning thinking happy thoughts about having trivia and Zoom with you guys. So is that a driving force?
Yes.
I absolutely
Okay.
think, yes.
That is the perfect human connection, and relationships are the number one driving force. That is exactly it. You
Like
nailed it.
I don't lie when, like I say, like the last winters I went to your place in Toronto and we went and saw Machine Head. We went and did fucking archery. We did trivia. Like that's my vacation for a year. Like I don't get anything outside of that. So it's when Zoom became a thing, that was a huge driving factor of getting out of bed. I'll
Did
give
you
it that.
roll up the rim on your cup though?
No, I don't know how to put it on my phone. Apparently you gotta scan shit on your Tim Hortons now.
Stupid now.
What's your guys' driving force to get out of bed in the morning? Colin said I'd lose my job. Dave, what's yours?
That's sometimes it's food. No, I mean yeah, like because we are in this society that we live in, like yeah, I have to get up to go to work, but like that is the current motivating factor. But like that's not my real reason. My real reason is so that I can enjoy as much of my life as I can. It just happens that I have to go to work to earn money to like do that. So like, once again, it's like, is it the direct motivating factor or is it the supplementary factors? Like you mentioned, Jay, like nights like this is a great time. We're having drinks and stimulating conversation. Like this is, to me, this is actually what life is like. And I guess to Elizabeth's point, like it's human interaction,
Yes.
like I think for me at least, I know there's a lot of people that could maybe live in the middle of nowhere by themselves with no interaction and always have, maybe their motivating factor would be their garden or like, just it's at the end of the day, I really think it is happiness, but how you define happiness or how you get to happiness, there's a lot of steps involved.
Yeah. I agree. I think I could do the off-grid life with someone that I don't want to be apart from. Like I could get off the internet. I could get off fucking Hydro One if I was paired with the perfect person for me. I think I could.
That says a lot. That speaks to like what's actually important,
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, we got kind of sidetracked there. I don't know if anyone else has anything, what motivates them, or people just want to move on. Either way.
Well, I'm still very interested to hear what people like. Doug, what motivates you?
His kids, Lynn's kids, cats. I know their answer.
You guys don't
My
even.
cats are not something I get out of bed for.
You don't know me.
I want to kick them out of the room. I don't
You
want
get
them.
out of bed because of the cat, not for the cat.
I have one screaming under the door every morning.
Anyone with kids is gonna say kids. I think. Is that not?
Why I get out of bed though? Like on the weekends, I don't get out of bed till noon, so I don't get out of bed for my kids.
Well, that should be instilled in your kid's
Jay,
brain.
Jay, did you answer the question? Why do you get out of bed?
Me?
Liz, you answered the question. Why do you get out of bed? It's probably like
Yeah, it took him like
I don't-
20 minutes to
it's
answer
not-
the fucking question. He answered the question.
Yeah, people just like wake up and they like do their thing. It's not like you don't have.
Look
to
at
have
look at these perfect rows of carrots though.
Yeah, I've been watching.
So I get out of bed, I think, a lot because I feel like I should. Something that I've been owning in COVID is like on weekends, there is no moral obligation to get out of bed because there's nothing to fucking do. And you don't need to feel bad about not doing nothing and being awake.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about my life right now. So thank you for putting that to words.
I honestly think this is a very uncommon time, and I think we are societally very accustomed to making ourselves feel bad because that helps churn the capitalist machine. And I think we all can practice a little bit of making ourselves, like, self-compassion is kind of the term for it, but make yourself feel less bad about just chilling the fuck out because there's nothing to do anyway. Like, you can't do anything right now, so don't feel bad about doing nothing. Give yourself an opportunity to just take care of yourself, whatever that means. And I don't have kids, so I get that my reality is a little bit different. I have a lot fewer like obligations, but
Yes.
I still think we can all go that direction a little bit.
I feel like we should qualify. We don't have kids. We're feeling COVID, but we don't also have kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a great answer. I get up in the
No,
morning
that's
because they should.
there's no right or wrong answer. So
No, yeah, there's no right or wrong answer. I just want to hear all answers, essentially.
There are wrong answers to the question.
Well,
To
yeah,
murder
there are-
people.
there are,
That's
like,
not a
morally-
reason to get up. Murdering people is not a reason to get up.
Has any? I had a lot of questions, but I feel like I need to save them for the podcast.
It might not be a good reason to get up, but it is a reason to get up.
Okay. Fair. You're technically right, which is the best kind of right.
I want to kind of touch on what you asked, Colin, but it's going to be completely different.
And now for something completely different.
I saw an article that asked the question, what's the weirdest fucking fact you know? And the top response was, there is some point in the cremation period where the meat is perfectly cooked. And I fucking laughed my ass off.
I saw that myself, and I'm like, that person's on a special level.
Yes, he really is. He should be on stage with a mic. Like, that is gold.
It's like, how good is that gonna taste?
Little
It might be
ketchup,
like a
little Southwest
microsecond. It
sauce.
might be like a microsecond is perfectly cooked. He's like,
Liz-
for that microsecond,
It has to be really
good.
fast, yeah.
Liz is making like a really cringe face right now. Liz, I want to tell you a story, and everybody, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do it. You're listening.
Do it. Take control.
Okay, so my mother was like diagnosed with like a bunch of aneurysms in her brain, and one of the aneurysms ruptured, so she had to have brain surgery. Okay, so she was in this. We were in this like in between room where it was like they were deciding what to do with her, and then the doctor came in and he was like, "Okay, You're gonna go under anesthetic. You're already on anesthetic actually, and so you're gonna like not know what's going on in a few minutes, and then we're gonna do brain surgery on you. And then like me and my siblings are all standing around her, and there's like this moment. Sorry, this is gonna get dramatic all of a sudden. I didn't mean for that to happen. This is supposed to be a funny story. But there's this moment where like, you know, there's like, you know, she might not come out of it alive. So so the doctor's like describing to us like the seriousness of the situation, and he finishes it, and then he turns to my mom and he's like, okay, we're gonna go in now. And my mom's like, let's get her done. And like that was just, and like I'm sobbing, I'm actually sobbing, and then my mom goes, get her done, and then I burst out laughing. Like I can't deny that that's fucking hilarious that my mom just said that on her way to brain surgery. Like, let's get her done.
Legit sounds like my dad.
I got a similar story about my dad.
I would love to hear it.
My dad, I fucking would give everything to have one beer with him right now. He came in from chemo in the back door in Garson, where Doug, Lynn's, Greg, you know about that door, through the garage. He came in and fell over instantly. And he looked up and he was like, I wouldn't have fell if your mom was stronger. And just, like,
What does that mean?
made me fuck. I was waiting in the kitchen and he just collapsed. Like he went through the ringer, which he did. And just made fun of my mom. Like, that's the humor I love.
But you can't explain like the humor amongst family. Like it's different.
It is. It really is.
Like I tried to explain the other day to, no. I'm gonna refill my drink. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
What was the story you were gonna tell, Colin, about Dad? Did you have one fucking lined up
I
there?
wasn't gonna tell a story about Dad. It was just like, let's get her done. Sounded a bit like Dad, like in just like, we're gonna go do something stupid. And Dad's
well,
like, yep,
let's get blitzed.
Let's go. Yeah, let's get blitzed is what I was thinking of basically.
Yeah.
But let's get blitzed was less of a like we're going into it. Actually, it's not that far off. It's less brain surgery and more that like we had a horrible family function to attend and it was going to take hours, so my dad was like, well, let's get blitzed.
Halfway through the day, Dad's like, no, fuck this.
Yeah,
let's
like
get
this
hammered.
50th wedding anniversary of Grandma and Grandpa is going to be interminable. Let's get fucking wasted.
Nope, that, if your mom was stronger, fucking line will always stay with me. What's something positive we could talk about? Russia and China. They're putting observation decks on the fucking moon.
Like I don't doubt that they're technically capable, but I can't see that lasting for very long financially.
They got plenty of money.
I want to see Tesla get involved with this.
But like,
or fucking Elon Musk.
Let's be real about exactly how much money it will take to literally ferry even supplies up to the moon on a regular basis.
So what is the proposal? They're going to build a research station on the moon that researches what?
Hopefully something
Are
cool.
they building a surveillance station that surveils Chinese people? Because I could see them doing that.
It might
Probably
be like
100% that.
It might be
if I may, as the Russian pundit on this call.
Thank you, pundit, for joining.
We got a mole.
The way that I see this happening is that the base has been built and they're just going to unveil it at some point.
I really feel like it's not an unlikely thing It's just they're probably not revealing their true reasons
Can
for
you
doing.
ninja build a base on the moon without anybody noticing?
That'd be fucking cool.
Yeah,
I guess,
don't.
I guess the thing is the valuable side of the moon is the Earth facing side, right? Like the dark side of the moon, which is a real thing.
Great fucking album.
Unless they agreed, unless they're trying to survey space, but then why do you like you could put a satellite in orbit and not have to actually establish a base on the moon, which makes no sense, right? Like I don't see the value in it necessarily. But I haven't read any of the articles. I learned about it tonight at trivia, so I have no knowledge. Somebody else talk about the base on the moon and why it's good.
Wait, can I ask? Does anyone here like A, have Twitter, and B, follow the Perseverance rover on Twitter?